Hey all of you, hope you guys are great. So in the last video we have completed our header component. I believe that you guys have watched that. In this video we're going to start working on our sign up component. So here we are in the layout page. Now click on this. This is how it looks, pretty beautiful. We have no issues. All of the components are looking absolutely fine. The drop down, the card component, this is the donate one we have, this is the form one we have, this is the login one, and this is the profile one, checkbox, and the footer. So all the component we have built and this looks pretty good. Now click on this and now we have to work on our next component. So close this one. We are done with that. So we are done with all of this button, card, checkbox, donate, file, footer, form, header. We have this login, logo, notification. The only two things are left is product, sign up, and upload. So this is the profile. We have already done it, and the one we have to work in this video, let's come up here. And so now we're going to start working on our sign up component. So click on that. Here we are in the sign up component, and let's start from the beginning. So first we have to import a couple of things from React, use state, and then we have to import the XCS because we have to make an API call and allow user to create their account. So XCS, then we have to do the internal import, and in that we need our CSV files for the form and log, and that's coming from the CSV index. Then we have to import the style file, our CSS file. Then we have to import the notification component because we have to display the notification once the user create his or her account. Now we have to create the sign up component. So it's going to receive a couple of props. So these are the 4 props we have set login, set sign up, and notification, and set notification. And that's what we're going to receive here. Now we have to take the use state variable because we have to take a couple of data from the user, like email ID, name, password, confirm password. So that's what we're going to store as a state variable in form of objects. So user, set user, and it's going to be an object. So we'll take this name, email, we'll take the password, we'll take the confirm password, and these are the 4 data we need. So these are the state variable. Now we have to take now we have to create a function which will allow us to update this state variable. So let's call it handle form field changed. It can be taking field name and the event. In that we have to call the set user. We have to deconstruct the user variables, and then we have to simply update that. So that's a very simple function, and we have built tons of times. Now come down here. We have to make a connection. So we'll allow the user to create their account. So we'll say create account. It's going to be an async function because we are dealing with the promises. We'll take this e.prevent default because we are using form. Now we have to take if user.email is not there, if user.password is equal to empty, if name is empty, and if confirm password is empty, then we don't allow user to create their account. They have to provide all of these details. Then we have to return this particular notification. Please provide all the details. That's it. And then we have to simply set wait while creating the account. So if he provided that, that means it will go to the next one. And in that we have saying that wait creating your account. And here we have to build the logic. So we'll take this try and catch block, and we'll say we're going to make an API call. So we'll take this const, we'll say response await, and we have built this particular. So we have to call this particular method post because we are creating the user. So post method, and this is the endpoint we have built, URL /API/v1/users sign up, and we have to take this with credential true because it will respond. We'll get a cookie back in response and the user data. So we have to store that cookie in the cookie and as well as in the local storage. So if you don't use that, your cookie will not store. And the one thing I want to highlight is that you have to run your backend and the front end on the same domain. Let me give you a better example. Just imagine that you have your API, the backend, and that's running on a different domain. Let's call that domain below. And your front end is on different domain, like it's on bed. So that time it will create the conflict because the resources are coming from 2 different locations. So in that context, you have to use this credential with true, so you won't have the issue, the cross origin errors. Hope things are clear. Now let's go ahead and we have to pass the data to our endpoint. So we'll pass the name, we have to pass the email, and we have to pass the password and the confirm password. So this is the password, and we have to pass the confirm password. Looks pretty good. So these are the data we are sending, and we'll get a response back after the successful account creation. So we have to check whether that response is success or fail. So we have that response in the form of status. So if stated is success, means user have created their account. So we have to first display this message that account is successfully created. Then we have to set the token, because we'll get a token back, and that token we have to set in our local storage, and this is the key we have given, NFT API token, and we have to pass the token. This is the same logic we are following, which we have followed in the login one. And here we have to simply say set sign up false, and this will say set notification to empty, because once the account is successfully created, it will display the notification. After that, we'll make it empty, so our notification bar would be hidden. And then we have to simply reload the browser. Pretty good. Now we have to simply display else. If anything goes wrong, then we have to display something message, something went wrong, try again later. And here we have to catch an error, so we'll say console.log, and that's pretty good. So again, this is a very simple model we have built for authentication. You can make it more complex, and you can create a global error handling model on the API, which will keep the track of if any error happening with the code from the developer point of view. It will tackle that one error, and if any user creating any error, then you can tackle that one as well. So I've explained every single thing in the API course, so make sure to check that. Again, I'm telling you that if you really want to learn about like complete API development, Mung API development, then definitely check that after completing this project. So this looks pretty fine to me, and we are done with that. Now we have to work on the JSX. We'll take this fragment, we'll take a div, it will have a class called card. We'll take another div, it will have a class called card2. Inside that, we're gonna take the form, and it will have a class called form. We'll come down, we'll set that we're going to take this p tag, it will have an id heading, and we'll have a class heading. Then we'll come here, we have to take this text sign up, close this one, and now we have to take the field. So we'll take the class called field, and in that we have to define the input field. So we'll take this, the icon, it will have the class called input icon, and we have to take this input field. We'll take this type text, class style input field. Then we have to take the placeholder name, take the auto complete to off, because sometimes this auto completion is really very irritating, because when you have one mail id, one user, that's okay, but when you will have multiple one, that creates a lot of confusion. So we'll have to call our function we have created, handle form field change, and that we have to pass the name of the field and the event. So this will automatically update the user information in the user state. Then close this one and close this. So the same thing we have to do for other field as well. So let me do it very quickly. The same thing we have to do. So we are done with the email field. Now we have to work on the password and password confirm. So let's do it. So we're done with the password. Now let's do the last one, password confirm. And close the div. So looks pretty good. So we are done with all the fields for that. Now we have to simply come here, we have to take a div and we have to create our button section in the form. So we'll take a button and we can simply add a class called button1. Altogether we're going to have 3 buttons. So with this we'll call click on, set login true, and set sign up false. So when someone will click on this, if set login is true, then it will turn off the sign up form. If sign up form if we want to open the sign up form, then it will set the login to false. So that's why it's a reusable model. Then we have to simply close the button, and here we have to provide the text. We're going to take this spaces and we have to take this login, and we're gonna simply close our very first button. Now we have to take another button, and this will be our class button2. It will have an on click function and we'll say sign up false, and we'll have a close. So they can click and they can close the sign up form. So this is the 2 button we have. Close the div. Now we have to take one more button which will actually allow the user to create their account. So we'll call it button3 and it will have this function create account we already have built, and we are taking this event called sign up, and let's close that one. Close the form, close the div, and close the div, and we have to display our component, notification component, because if they will complete a create account, they have to display the message. So we have to simply pass the information. We'll take this notification component and we have to pass the notification, and we have to pass the set notification, and that's our notification component. It's ready. Looks pretty good. Now we have to come and simply close this one, and now we have to simply export our sign up component. Pretty good. So we are done with the entire JSX part we have for the sign up. Okay, we have all of this internal import. We are receiving all of the props in the sign up. Then we are taking the user variables. Then we have this handle form field change, which will update our user information. Close this one, and this is the create account function we have. Checking for condition, then we are setting the notification, then making a response to the API, receiving the response, and that's the entire JSX. Looks pretty good to me. Close this one, and things are pretty awesome to me. And as I told you that we have already done with the CSS in the donate component, and the same CSS we have to use in the sign up field as well. So what I will do, I'll simply come back to the donate, go to this donate CSS and simply copy that one, and the same CSS we'll be using in the sign up form. Copy this one and come back to the here and simply paste. Click on this sign up and paste, and you can see we have this entire CSS, the reusable CSS we had built for the forms. So this is the form, this is the heading we have, this is the second, this is the field, this is the input field, button 1, button 1 over effect, button 2 over effect, button 3, and we have the over effect, and we have these 2 cards and the card over effect. Looks pretty good to me. So the same CSS we are using for the sign up. Save it, close this one, and come back to the layout. So here we have to receive the sign up form. We'll say sign up, copy that one, and that what we have to simply call it here. So we're going to call it right below the login. Okay, we'll say sign up, and then we have to take the component, close that one, and this will work absolutely fine. So we have done with this component as well. Reload the browser, and you can see things looks pretty good to me. We have the filter, this is the form, and this is the login, and this is the sign up. You can see Everything is working absolutely fine. You can make it more customizable. You can make it more, let's say, reusable, but I'm going with a simple approach. And if I click, this will already work fine. If you click on the header component, you can able to open the login and the sign up. So if I let me show you. So if I come here, so this is the header we have. If I come here, you can see we have already built all the logic for opening and closing, and here we have the two components. These two components we have. So all we have to do is to click on the buttons and it will open the components. So save it. If you come back, click on this login, it's going to open the login component. You can close it. You can click on sign up and you can close it. Click on login and sign up, and this will also work fine. Hope you guys can understand that what logic we have applied, and things are looking pretty awesome to me. Okay, so the entire header component is working fine and all of the things are looking awesome. So pretty good. So we are almost going to be completed very soon. So we have built all the important component. Now we need to build one important component which allow us to upload the images, because without that all of the components are nothing. So that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. Hope you guys have got an idea and you guys have built the exact what I have built and everything's working from your end. If you still have any error, any doubt, make sure to rewatch the video to understand the logic we have implemented. And to know more about the cookies and the API authentication section, make sure to follow the API course. Again, I'm telling you, after completing this, make sure to follow that. That will teach you everything about the API development. So with that, let's move to the next video.